Connect AI is an SMS lead management platform that uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to communicate efficiently and effectively with your automotive leads and customers. Our mission is to deliver the most advanced conversational AI products and support to automotive retail. There are endless benefits to using AI and automated communication in your dealership, but there are key areas where Connect AI is the right solution to address pains within the automotive industry. With Connect AI, you now have the tools to acquire more, engage faster, and convert higher. For more information, visit us online at connect.ai. I'm Jill, and thanks for watching.
This episode is brought to you by Connect AI. Connect AI bridges the gap between tech tools and automotive communications. For over a decade, we've developed and continue to perfect our award-winning AI and texting platform to support retail and service operations in successfully connecting with customers at any phase in their journey. That's Connect AI. Also, a proud sponsor is VinQ, one login system, source for everything. Hundreds of dealers have switched to VinQ recently because we offer tools and solutions that meet the challenges of today's markets. Selling cars isn't magic, and it's never been less of an art. Today's market is powered by data, and your customers know it. To meet them where they are, you need to have smarter tools and smarter systems. We all know where the market is heading. Let us help you get there first. Also, a proud sponsor is Dealer Elite. The founding members then invited some of the best and brightest in the industry to share their knowledge with one another. The goal, to advance the automotive industry through collaborative effort. This elite group of founding members pushed this site beyond the original vision by inviting friends, colleagues, and clients to join and share their ideas as well. Also, a proud sponsor is Ascent Dealer Services. Our company was built on the foundation of servant leadership. We will continue to serve our dealers, F&I managers, employees, and our communities. We are a bold mission to help as many dealers maximize their F&I departments as possible. Dealer Ascent Services is the fastest growing F&I provider in the industry. Also, a proud sponsor is Bumper.com. What if you had a digital dashboard for your car ownership needs? A place where you can access up-to-date vehicle history reports, compare vehicles, shop for the best auto insurance rates, get instant market value appraisal, and so much more. Whether you're shopping for a new car, comparing auto insurance policies, or just looking to sell an existing vehicle, Bumper has you covered at every step of the way. That is Bumper.com.
Meet Robert. He's in his office and using his phone. An ad pops up on his phone screen regarding a car dealership. Robert has been looking at buying a new vehicle. They ask a few questions about him. Robert receives email and SMS from them. He went to the car dealer. The salesperson there is already notified on his computer. Robert had already booked his test drive through the AI technology in the ad. He really likes the car and bought the car. Robert is happy. Robert receives over the course of the next 2 months follow-up SMS and emails from the dealership. Welcome to Pinnacle Online Marketing Agency. We create AI chatbots to qualify and automatically book appointments and take finance applications and set automation campaigns for follow-up via SMS, email, and messenger to increase revenue and customer CSI. We will help you with lead generation, sales funnels, and nurturing sequencing. Our team is comprised of ex-dealership managers. We know the industry and what's needed. Book a free marketing audit and consultation.
Welcome to another episode of the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. I am your host, Ron Garverick. Thank you for being on this morning. I got a real special guest coming on. He's like a brother to me. I met him a few years ago Actually, I met him when it came on Facebook. I was told by Corey Mosley, man, this is the guy you need to talk to. And we were going to a conference in Tampa Bay, Florida. So I wanted to get to know this guy before I really got involved. And I'm so glad I did, because he's a true inspiration. He's like a mentor to me when I'm too afraid to get a hold of Corey Mosley. And so I talked to him about things that go on. I talked to him about things that are in my life and how I can improve. And I mean, he's such a wonderful person. Now, he has spent more than 19 years in the industry, automotive industry. His unique qualifications include serving an OEM district sales manager, high performance internet director in GSM. He's led his team of consultants for one of the biggest vendors in the automotive industry. And 3 years ago, he took the leap of faith and got into the entrepreneurship as the founder of Cage Automotive. Now, through Cage Automotive, he continues to impact the employee and customer experiences in the dealership. Cage Automotive not only consults for many dealerships across the country, but recently launched a modern online experience training course, Cage Campus, which has certified both new and veteran sales consultants. Through Cage Campus and Cage Automotive, Durran Cage, along with his team, has had the drive and passion to reach farther and impact greater, to leave everything better than they found it. Away from work, Durran enjoys spending time with his wife, Paige, the fearless leader in the home that makes all things possible, or makes this thing possible. And he has 4 children, Alexander, Preston, James, Addison, and Connor. Now, his hobbies include playing with his kids, basketball, hitting golf balls in the backyard, bowling, and reading books. Man, that sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know how he gets the time in it, but that's perfectly fine. He is one of the great people that I was so excited to get back on. Now, if you've listened to the Automotive Architects podcast through the last 2 years, you've heard him on before, and we had the COVID thing going on, right? COVID was coming. We were talking about how were we going to get involved and get things changed because of COVID. And things have changed since COVID, and it's changed for the better. But now it's time to grow even further. And in his business, he has grown. And I'm proud to say that he's going to be on the show. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after these moments.
Before, we'd always be late and on empty. Now we're just late. Kids?
Before, no one used to listen to me. Hello, ID? I'm cold.
Before, we couldn't take in the sweet sounds of nature.
Seriously.
Before it can change the world, it has to change yours. The all-new, all-electric Volkswagen ID4.
You're listening to the #1 automotive sales podcast, the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast with Ron Garverick. I walked into his office to quit car sales, and I walked out with a plan that made me a master salesman and a much better provider.
The #1 automotive sales podcast, broadcasting around the world. 100% positive mindset on making over $100K a year. You want to make more money and close more car deals while keeping a positive mindset. This is the show for you. Broadcasting around the world. This is the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast with Ron Garverick.
Much of a tip as it is just an idea or a strategy, but why not have your entire dealership be a BDC, or the majority of it? With Cage Automotive. So I hope everybody's doing well. So this message today is called Bulletproof Mindset.
Welcome back to the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast, the only guest that has ever had an intro on my show. And by golly, he deserves it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Durran Cage. There he is.
That intro was freaking phenomenal.
How's everything going on in your world?
Man, it's going great, man. How about things? How are things going in your world, Ron?
Man, I couldn't get any better. You know, everything that's going on right now with COVID and people talking about take the vaccination, don't take the vaccination. It's mandatory. It's not mandatory. You know what? It doesn't really affect our business. And our business is to take care of our customers, provide them a service that they need. And that's buying cars. And then people talk about, man, I don't have any inventory. Well, you know, there's a thing called buying cars and putting them on your inventory. You got customers that don't want their vehicles anymore. They want to get out of debt. They're scared of things that are going on. So why don't we buy their cars? Why don't we buy their cars so we can resell their cars? And the thing that you can do with that is, first thing you got to do is you have a database in your computer. It's called a CRM. And they have thousands and thousands of people that you can call and say, hey, you want to get rid of one of your vehicles? Or how many vehicles do you have? Oh, you have too many? How about you just bring one on over and let us take a look at it and let us go ahead and buy it and take it off your hands. But that's what this man here, he specializes in BDC. He's smart. I've seen BDC trainers out there. I've seen what they can do. But when you spend time with this guy, it's not about the money. It's about serving others. And that is this man, Durran Cage. I appreciate you being on the show. I know you got things to do later on tomorrow or early in the morning. So we're gonna cut to the chase and we're gonna get down to business. But you are the only man that I ever gave an intro to. So congratulations.
Much love back to you, man. That was so when I do get a podcast or if I'm, somehow the Cage Automotive Group has one, definitely I will owe you the favor of like getting a fire intro because that was good, man. So I'm so thankful to be on. It's been way overdue. And you've been great, man. You've been not just a good business friend, because we all have those, right? You got those people that are kind of like your business friends, but definitely on a personal level, you're just a great dude because there's those people that they're good on camera or they're good on social media or whatever, but it's outside of social media when you find who people really are, man. You're a great dude since we met way back in Tampa, and since then. So it's been cool, man. I'm excited.
So you have this new company called Cage Campus, and for the viewers that are watching, look at that beautiful shirt right there. Big CAE in big old letters in campus. I mean, who wouldn't recognize the man walking wearing that T-shirt at the airport and not knowing that he is there for business, right? I mean,
yes, sir.
So what brought you into deciding, hey, I want to do an online training course and develop Cage Campus? What brought you to that?
So it's interesting story. So it goes back to, I want to say it's in 2019. There was Glenn Lundy did a Grow Your Business for God's Sakes conference. Might have been in 2018 or 2019. It's one of the. I'm pretty sure it's 2019 because it was right before COVID hit. And I want to say it was either August or September. And Sharon Lecter got on stage and she said something that was pretty powerful. She said, ask yourself two questions if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, whatever. She said, the first question is, are you easy to do business with? I got to thinking about that. I was like, I think so, but is it really easy for anybody in the world to do business with me? If they just wanted to connect, because actually it was kind of difficult the way my model was then. And then the second question was, can you scale your business? And I was like, man, I can't scale me. And so I met after that, I was talking with Shaka Dyson. He was there. I pulled him to the side and I said, man, I'm thinking about doing, yeah, I heard what she said. And I think I should do a training course. And I think by after 2020 or 2021, maybe, I could come up with something, like that. And he's like, bro, why wouldn't you not do it now? Like, do it right now. You know how Shaka is. He's got a passion. He's like, do it now. He didn't punch, but, and so I was like, okay. Well, so then when I got back from the conference, I started just writing and writing and just coming up with different things that just are really impactful. And then Corey, my mentor, he was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do this because he already has a great course. He uses Lightspeed, I want to say, at the time or whatever. And so he's like, come on out. So I went out there. We worked on some things together and I sucked. It was absolutely horrendous. Like I didn't do as good as I thought I was going to do. I think it was like the whole green screen thing. I just didn't prep good enough. And so I came back a little defeated. Well, I still kept working on that content and recording videos at home, kind of like where I am now. And then I started doing some
Like I
research.
am now.
So I took a real estate course, and there was a guy that did this course, and I loved how it was, dude. Like I watched it from beginning to end. It was like a journey of like how to buy houses, how to invest, and all. And I loved how it was. It wasn't green screen. It was just like him going in the houses and showing you how he's doing it. And I ended up connecting with the person that produced that course. And he came out from DC. His name is Jose. He's a great dude, man. And when I was talking to him about where we should do it, I was like, so do I need to get a studio, green screen? He's like, no, man, I need you to find a dealership. I want you to be as natural as you can possibly be. And I want you to go in. And I was like, okay. So I reached out to one of the good friends, and he's a client now. I said, man, would you do me a favor? Would you allow me to record for 2 days on the weekend at your dealership? He's like, yeah, man. So I came in there on a Saturday and I freaking went in at the dealership, and it was live. There was customers in the back, salespeople watching me, and I went for 8 hours straight on Saturday, and then came back on Sunday when the dealership was closed and shot again for another 8 hours. And it was nuts, man. It was just flowing. And I did this in the middle of COVID, which is crazy. So it was during the middle of COVID. But what's interesting is a lot of things that I teach, and the same thing for you, Ron, I guarantee it. A lot of things that we teach were just as important pre-COVID as they were during COVID. Like if
Absolutely.
you had mastered a lot of the things that you and I, and I'm sure many other consultants and trainers talk about what you said at the beginning, mastering the CRM, being brilliant on video, taking care of your social media, having good habits. If you were doing all that stuff before COVID, you crushed it during COVID. And so it was easy for me to get on camera. I didn't sit on camera and talk about it. It's COVID now, you need to do this. I'm like, man, this is what you should have been doing all along, because I was doing this way back when. So once that pumped out, once we finished it, and I sent it, and I started, chopping up some of the content, giving people teasers, and then I released it to my clients, and it was like, boom, they loved it because it was something that they hadn't seen. Because most trainers and consultants that do these courses, it's normally like they're just standing there, they're just teaching, and they're just bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Here's what you do. And versus I taught it as if you were actually in a classroom with me and just going in it and moving into different environments and really getting granular with how to do things, what to say, how to record the videos, where you should do it at, different ideas. And so that's where the Cage Campus. So I did it so that if, say, some store in who knows where, Alaska, said that, man, we don't know if we can get you out here to us, but how can we connect with you? How can we train? And so now I at least have something that can just, I can send to a store, and then I can add additional content to it for the organization. So if they want to personalize it a little bit more, I can add to it. So that's where the whole Cage Campus came for. It's just more of the people that want the training. They want something that's just modern, that's not something from 10, 15, 20 years ago, but the stuff that you and I teach, Ron, that's so relevant to today, but it's also relevant to 2 years from now, 3 years from now, because like you said, with the inventory crisis, it's the same thing as COVID. If you were 5 years ago, if you were already prospecting to buy cars, working your service lanes, doing those things, working all the different mediums you have to acquire inventory. When this happened, the chip shortage, it would have been no big deal because you had all the great habits. So it's really cool because it's like there's so much friction in the industry right now. But if you're doing those basic things, it's not all the extra stuff, but just doing the basic things that make dealerships very successful and you do them every single day, no matter what happens in our industry, you're going to win.
And the funny thing is, the stuff that is going on right now, the chip shortage, the COVID when it first started, COVID, the chip shortage, the inventory, we should be prepared for this. And it's funny because I've talked to dealerships where before they were just buying their customers, they were uh, losing 1,000, 1,500, 2 grand on new cars. And I was telling them, I was like, you sell the same amount of cars and make more gross. You don't have to buy your customer. If you're selling the value of the vehicle and selling yourself as a salesperson, you can make money. And now, they're like, no, 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 we got to sell cars. We got to hit that number. We got to hit that number. And now they're doing what I was saying that needed to be done. They're not. They're not using incentives and rebates because there isn't any, and they're selling the car at MSRP, and people are not complaining. Customers are not complaining, saying, "Oh, can you do a little bit better than that?" No, they're like, "It is what it is." So when everything starts picking back up, why should we be giving rebates? Why should we be selling or giving away incentives? That's just our money we're giving away. That's the money that the dealership or the manufacturers letting us keep. We don't have to give it away. So if we change the mindset, when everything goes back to normal, everybody's going to make so much more money. We're not going to
Yes.
sell less cars because there's some dealerships, and Street Volkswagen of Amarillo is one of them. They're still hitting 100 new cars a month. They're selling them at MSRP, and they're making huge money. So why can't we do this continuously after this chip shortage and inventory shortage is over? And it's the mindset that we don't have to give away cars. And what's important, you said something about it, is customers want videos. Customers love to see videos. People are saying, "Well, I don't like to be in front of a camera." Well, what's the difference of being in front of a camera than in being in front of a live customer? By doing a video, if you don't like what you said, you can edit it or you can re-record it and send it to the customer. There's some customers that don't want to come to the dealership. They want you to come to them, but they want to see the car first. They want to be able to see if it has a scratch. They want to see what the interior looks like. And with the CRM now, where you can email or text numbers, you're making it easy. I mean, people are like, "Oh, Carvana is kicking our butt." You know what? They're not kicking our butt, because one thing that's missing between us and Carvana is the experience that we give the customer. Talk about customers is we got a sponsor, Dealer Elite, the most recognized automotive social network in the world. Sign up today
Yep.
and engage with the best and brightest in the industry. So, I mean, it's so crazy how we're making excuses, but there's some dealerships out there that are making results. Why is the CRM important now more than ever?
Shoot, because I think you said it. It was in. What we talked about before is about minding your business. That's such a it's such a beautiful line, man, because it really is, because there's so many distractions right now. But that CRM is, okay, we need to sell more cars. Okay, let's talk about that. How do we sell more cars? Well, you can mind your business and you've got customers right there, your loyal customers. Some of these people are doing service. They're coming in repeatedly. Some of them have bought three, four, five cars. Those are the people that you need to lean on. And then on the flip side, if we're looking to acquire inventory, how easy is it literally to find 20, 30, 40 people a day that bought a car 2, 3, 4 years from now? that probably now have some equity, or either the ones that I love to help, because it's like helping is somebody that's paying that 10, 12, 15, 20% money because life got rough 3 or 4 years ago, but now they're that customer that's built some equity up. They've been paying it down. They've made some great habits. Life's going good for them because most people are making more money now than they were 3 or 4 years ago. So why in the world will we not reach out to them and ask them if they would consider upgrading and possibly even lowering their monthly payment? And I tell you, one of the reasons why, Ron, that you see it not happening enough, because if you weren't doing these things where you're maintaining your relationship, which to me, out of that CRM, the R is the most important part, relationship. Because customer is cool, management is great, but if you don't have the relationship, the things that I'm talking about, you're going to tell me right now it's bull crap. You can't call people from 3 years ago because you didn't focus on the relationship, because you sold them 3 or 4 years ago and you did what the average salesperson does, which is follow up 1.5 times after a sold car is done and just ask them to get the survey. But if you maintain that relationship, you can do it. So if it's somebody that hasn't been maintaining a relationship, say you're a new person, you're a green pea, and you're like, I can't do that. I didn't sell them a car 3 years ago. You can still build relationships with people that bought from that dealership just by nurturing it. Don't call somebody and say, hey, we need inventory. Would you trade it? Just talk to them. Just say, man, I noticed that nobody here from the dealership has been connecting with you. And I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to connect with you and just see how's your vehicle doing and just have general conversation. Then it might be month 3, month 6, 9 months from now. Then that relationship now turns into business. But a lot of us, we're so caught up on instant gratification, because I've been there in the automotive industry, that we don't want to do a lot of the little things within that CRM that are going to give us big results in the future. We want to go into the CRM tomorrow, Ron, and we want to be able to call on everybody and get all our business, but we don't want to do it on a consistent basis to get the results. But long answer to your short question, CRM, just focus in on the R, relationship, with every internet lead that comes in there, every phone up that comes in there, walk-in service. Focus on building a relationship first, and then you'll get your business second.
And it goes back decades ago. Decades ago, it was revenue over relationships.
Yeah.
And then it changed because there were dealers who were making lots of money, but they weren't seeing their customers come back, or the customers were so upside down that, and I'm talking when cars were at 14.9%, where you had to handwrite everything and then fax it through. And then they focused on, man, we need our customers to come back. What do we do? Then they came with relationships over revenue. And then they would build in relationships with their customers, but then they had to continue buying their customers to buy cars from them, because in the past they took advantage of them. That's where the revenue over relationships came in, that they had to cheap sell their cars, make no money to build relationships with these customers. And now with what's going on today, it's relationships with revenue. I'm not talking about knocking their heads off, but I'm talking about selling the numbers, the law of average. The more people you see, the more money you make.
Yes.
And that's how, so that in translation into the car industry, the more cars you sell, the more money you make, but you don't have to give the car away.
True. Pure gold right there, man. I feel like it's going to be like that for a long time, because it's not over. It's almost like the R eventually will get replaced, and we're going to call it customer experience management. Because first the relationship. So first it was revenue, now it's relationship. But then next, it's like the relationship isn't going to be enough. It's going to be relationship and the experience that gets delivered, meaning the flexibility that we offer our customers, and being prepared to sell them the way that they want to sell, or they want to purchase the way that they want to purchase. But I mean, it's golden what you're saying. It's just like, we have to evolve with our customers, utilizing that CRM. But I think that's a great point that you bring up.
And it goes back to, it's not what you say or what you did, but it's how you made them feel. and that's where the experience comes in. That's one thing Vroom and Carvana does not have on us in the industry is the experience, because once you make a customer feel good, they will remember that. They'll tell people. I've seen customers come into the dealership and they're like, "Hey, I brought my sister-in-law in. She's ready for a car. Hey, I brought my best friend in. She said she was looking for a car." They may have never thought of that product. They may have never thought about buying a Volkswagen, but it's how you made her sister feel or her best friend feel. They're coming in because they want that experience, because they don't believe that you can get a great experience at a car dealership. I mean, that's worse than going to the dentist and getting a root canal. It's painful when you walk in, but then when you see everybody and they say hi to you and everybody goes, "Hey, would you like a coffee, a water, or a Dr. Pepper?" And they're like, "No, no, no, I'm fine." And then the next person comes by, "Hey, do you want a coffee, water, or a Dr. Pepper, a bag of chips? You want us to change the channel for you so you feel more comfortable?" And they're like, "This is a car dealership?"
Right.
Experience, man.
Yeah. And take it a step further, as we're talking about sales reps leaning in on that experience and that relationship. But the part from what I'm seeing in the industry, and I'm sure Ron, you've seen this as well, is that it's just as important that when we're talking about the relationship and the experience and what we want to deliver, that it starts with the leadership at the dealership. Because with the clients that I have, the ones that thrive versus the ones that just get the average results, it comes down to the leaderships at the dealership that buy into that. So it's like we're talking about the experience and the relationship that the salespeople need to have, but we also need to be talking about what's the experience and the relationship that the leadership needs to have. Like, what does their process look like when it's an online shopper, a phone up, or walk in? What is it that they're doing to make sure that the experience, because that's really to me where it levels up. It's like, you go to that nice restaurant and whatever place it is, and you have your waiter, right, your waitress, whoever, but there's just something to it when that chef that comes from the back, or the
Exactly.
person that whatever title they want to give themselves, comes out, says, "Hey Ron, how's my team doing? How's my server? Are they taking care of you? Can I get you any more water? Can I get you any?" You know what I mean? And you talked about that with the snacks and stuff like that. But it's that reinforcement from the top. That's the thing that I think that separates that average store to the phenomenal store, is what is it that that leadership is doing? Because it does no good if the managers are saying, or the leaders are saying, "We better give the experience, we better do the CRM." But if the managers and the leaders aren't doing the CRM and they're not doing those little things, then that's why the people on the ground floor are not going to do it, because they're like, if it's not important to the managers or the leaders, why would I do it? And it's just like children. I think about my kids. I have to be careful because I can't tell them to do something and then they
Right.
see me and I'm not doing it either. So I think that's important as we're on that topic. It's just like, yes, experience is important, relationships important, CRM is important, but it's most important that your leaders buy in on that as well, to make sure that the whole store has that culture.
Exactly. And that means desk managers, get away from your desk, go out and meet your customers, thank them for coming in, shake their hand, build a rapport with them, because I've seen some customers that will go around the salesman and go straight to the desk manager because he's built that relationship with them. And then they
Yep.
want you to go show them the car, and you're like, "No, Christian can show you the car. He'll take good care of you." And they're like, "But you're my guy. You're the one I trust. You're the one that
Mhm.
asked me about my kids and asked me, about my experience and everything." But it is so true. You have to lead from the front, and people will follow. And then once you lead, those followers will become leaders also. And then it's just a recurring effect. And that's one thing that I see that you're doing. I watch your videos on Facebook, and I watch how you lead your children, and some of that green stuff that you try to get them to drink, man. I don't even know about that, but but they look up they look up to you. I mean, you're a great leader, not just in your profession or in your personal life, but in your professional life. And people will follow you. They'll follow you on Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere, because they want more of what you have to give. because in all around you're such a great guy and you're a true
No, no.
leader and you're an inspiration for everybody. You know, when I mention Durran Cage, you can ask my guys whenever you meet them. I know they'll tell you, man, if this man will stop talking about you, I'll be happy because I'm like, man, you got to do what Durran Cage does. You got to do this, man. He's so good on the BDC. He's a great trainer. He'll teach you how to follow up. He'll teach you how to do this, and they'll look at me and go, you know what you do? Nah, but Durran
Exactly.
Cage, man, and yeah, I know how to do BDC training, but I like when I listen to what you have to say on Facebook. I love to whatever I'm doing in my day. If I'm desking a deal and I'm on Facebook and I see a Durran Cage video, I stop, I hit play, I turn the volume up, and I watch it. Why? Because you can always be learning. Something
Mhm.
that he says can trigger me to go, man, why didn't I think of that? And then I reword it in my own language because I'm not as smart as Duran, but I'll
Mhm.
put it in my own language so people can understand me. And it's just a great thing, and I just want to tell you that you're such a great trainer, a great person, and you have a lot to share with people. And I know I got a short time with you because you have such a busy schedule and you have to get some of your night sleep or whatever. I don't even know what sleep
Oh,
is
there's no
anymore.
sleep. It's a nap. We don't sleep here. It's nap.
But I did traveling. I went to Dallas and did some training, and I went to Digital Dealer, did some training uh, down there, and it gets exhausting. And for a man with dark hair, you must dye your hair because I got gray everywhere, and I don't see a lick of gray on you. So you're doing something right with your naps.
It's coming. The gray's coming, man. No, I just, like I told you, I try to get as much balance as I can, but there is no balance, man. Like when people ask about that question, how do you balance it? And I tell my wife that there is no balance. It's just sometimes you have to grind an insane amount, and then sometimes you just don't have to grind as hard because there's like equity in your grind. Like you've done a lot of things, and I always talk about we did it in school, man. Like if you either went to college or high school, there was times that you had to freaking grind to pass. Like I wasn't the smartest guy. You say I'm smarter than you. I doubt that, dude. It took me 5 times to pass my ACT, and but you had to grind because you had a big vocabulary test. You had something, and it's amazing that we'll spend 2 o'clock in the morning, cramming for a test. But when's the last time people have crammed for themselves? Like when's the last time somebody crammed hard to get things done that need to get done, like whether they need to write that book, whether they need to start that podcast, whether they need to get better at selling Volkswagen, they need to get better at their product. A lot of us won't take that time to stay up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, or if they're not a late night person, they don't want to get
Yeah,
up at 3 or 4 a.m. to own their craft. And so that's a lot of the stuff that I work on is just like I take that mentality. Like if I was willing to do that in school to get a freaking B or a C, why in the world would I not do it to maybe make 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, or $1 million for my business? But I do want to say two things. Thank you for the compliment. When you talk about my kids, I was taking notes. See, I take notes from you too, Ron. And you're talking about, my kids looking up to me. But what I do with my kids, and I'm sure you do this with your team and your kids, is like you teach them through your mistakes. So I don't teach them as a father about everything that I do excellent and I'm this and that. What I do is I talk about my common pitfalls, things where I've fallen short, where I've lied, I stole, whatever I did, and try to tell them about. I don't want you to go through that experience and experience the consequences that I've had to do, even in my recent years in life. Like, don't do it. Like just, and same thing when I teach, when I'm training, and I'm sure you do this too, Ron, is like you teach people out of the pain that you went through because you want them to avoid that pain
yeah,
and show them how they can get that shortcut to success. And then the other note I took from you in my little, or nobody can see it, but what you said, man, it's just like, man. you said it used to be ABC, right? Always be closing, but I love what you said, and I wrote it down. This is gonna be my sticky note. We're gonna put it on my computer. Always be learning. So I've had two people tell me this, from a mentor, Corey, to another guy I talked to, Kyle, and then recently I was just in a training yesterday where somebody actually trained me. So it felt cool. Where it was a gentleman that works with, he did 20 years working in broadcasting and worked with NBC and CNN, and he was a master at people delivering on camera, like what to say, what not to say, your pace, your content. And he said that he just talked to me yesterday. He said, one thing, Durran, I'm gonna leave you with this. He's like, just make sure no matter what, that every single day you spend some time working on your craft. He's like, you always need to be learning. He said, you always have to keep studying, because he said, if you don't, he said, that's gonna separate you from being good and being great. And it's like, I guess it's the powers that be, God or whatever is talking, because I guess I'm not studying enough. Because after that, it helped me a lot. And then here I am with you, and you just said, always be learning. So maybe it's a message for somebody that's listening to this. If you're stuck, or if you're not stuck, if you're killing it and you still want to take it to another level, what Ron just said that was pure gold is just always be learning and just freaking own your craft and just get better, whether it be in the automotive industry or outside of it. But if you're in the automotive industry, there's so many ways to own your craft and just always be learning. So thank you for all those nuggets, Ron. But you crushed it with that. So you've got a new sticky note that says
Yes,
Ron on there. Always be learning.
always learning. Like you said, ABC always be closing. It's more powerful if you're learning, and that's why when I say when your video pops up, man, I'm going to learn something, and I
Yeah.
learn it from you with Shaka, Glenn Lundy, Damian Boudreaux, Tim Kent's. It doesn't matter, because what you see can make you better the following day, and it's so powerful. My friend, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I want to tell you how everything that you've done in my life has made me better just for being my friend, and I will always cherish that. And I mean, when I get down, when I get doubtful, when I have any doubts, I'll shoot you a message, and you always give me an inspiration. And it's knowing that you have somebody that has your back, and I mean, I have your back, and I always support you, and always will. But it's just knowing that when I'm down and I'm having a bad day, and I shoot you a text when you're not super busy or flying or in training, I know I'll get a message back and say, "Dude, you got it. Don't worry about anything. You're Ron." And so I just want to say thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. And if I don't talk to you from now till Christmas, Merry Christmas. And you're a great guy, man.
Man, thank you so much. You got me a little choked up there, but thank you, Ron. Appreciate it, man. And let's just make sure we don't go this long again without with us getting together. So hopefully,
Right.
if we don't do something by the end of 2021, let's definitely get something on the books at the beginning of 2022, because we're gonna have some fun stuff to talk about. So let's
Oh
just keep
yeah.
it going, keep pouring into each other, loving one another, because I send you the same messages that I know the day that I'm sending a message to you like that, you're bouncing right back. And that's what it's
Oh yeah.
about, man. Just connecting with each other, man. That's what it's all
And,
about.
and before we end, to tell the folks that are listening, this comes from the man that sang "Happy Birthday" on my birthday, and I had to do it back to him later on, because I was like, man, I got to up him on this one. And so I don't know what room you were in, but I was in the men's bathroom doing mine, because the acapella sounded good with the voice hitting the walls. So
Well, you just got me in trouble for anybody that watched this that I didn't send them a singing video on their birthday, but that shows how special you are, Ron. So you're great people, and I'm excited for your future. It's so bright, man, and we need more people like you. I think I shouldn't say we need more people like you. More people need you to impact their lives, if that makes sense. So because there's only one Ron, there's not another. So keep doing you, and I'm excited for your future and what's going to happen next.
I appreciate it, my friend. You have listened to the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast, sponsored by Dealer Elite, the most recognized automotive social network in the world. Sign up today and engage with the biggest and brightest in the industry. And ZipDeal. ZipDeal is a new sponsor. Improve profitability through an enhanced customer experience. ZipDeal's delivery system streamlines the post-sale pre-F&I delivery experience by unifying critical touch points that drive satisfaction and profitability. And Street Volkswagen of Amarillo is a sponsor. Go by and check out the new ID4. Go to www.streetbw.com. Durran, once again, thank you, my friend. You've been awesome. I really appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Before, we'd always be late and on empty. Now we're just late. Kids?
Before, no one used to listen to me. Hello, ID? I'm cold.
Before, we couldn't take in the sweet sounds of nature.
Seriously.
Before it can change the world, it has to change yours. The all-new, all-electric Volkswagen ID4.
Hey guys, you're listening to the #1 automotive sales podcast out there, The Automotive Architect with Ron Garverick. So tune in and enjoy the show. Later, guys.